I guess I better look for it too.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay, you're live.
Okay, I'm on. Anybody in here yet?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
45 people. Oh. You removed it per the uploader?
What?
Said you removed it per. Hmm,
I didn't remove it. I'm still on.
no,
Okay, here we go.
I don't see you.
Okay, well, you need to go back. Okay,
Uh-uh.
pup. Okay. Sorry about this background I got. So when I logged in, I had to reset my password. They're in my Zoom big time, and this is the last time I had grass. That was the only thing they would let me choose from. This time, they're letting me choose Jade Helm Survivor, which I am a Jade Helm Survivor, but I did not want this thing in my background. So I apologize. Hope it ain't a trigger for nobody. I was in Jade Helm. That's where my weapons started. I was gang stalked and targeted since 2012, but my weapons attack started in Springfield, Missouri in 2015. V2K, direct energy weapon attacks, etc. So today, welcome to the chat. Today we do open discussion where people can comment about their targeting. I'll read their comments and talk about it. I'm also going to talk about uh, what I would. We're going to have an interesting topic. What I would do if I was a cognitive researcher. I think it's an interesting thing to get into and cover. If you got any other topics you'd like us to talk about, just let us know. Um, if you're wondering what my hat is, I have a Faraday hat. I have a migraine ice cap under it. I have blue light glasses, and I have this orgonite thing. It's a pendant with black tourmaline, orgonite, Herkimer diamonds, all kinds of stuff that protects from EMF. And I don't think we have any of our people in here because nobody's commenting yet. Okay, so I'm just going to start. Everyone that who all right. Everyone knew that whoever let the sadness overtake them would sink into the swamp. That's from the never-ending story. The manifestations of the parasite spirit are through feelings of sorrow, sadness, despair, hopelessness, loneliness, discouragement, and self-pity. When this spirit of heaviness comes upon us, its companion is usually infirmity. Our body can easily get sick when we are sad. Apostle Paul said we should think on them things that are lovely and praiseworthy. Jesus taught that we must bind the strong man before we fight him. We do this by using the name because everything must bow down and obey that name, even Lucifer. I declare that when a thief is caught, he must give back sevenfold. I bind you, parasite spirit. You're a smothering spirit, and I rebuke you and command you to leave my life now in the name of Jesus. Just thought I would read that. Okay, here we go. If I was a cognitive researcher, if I was a cognitive researcher, I would create organizations claiming to help TIs while collecting data on my experimentations that I'm doing on other targets. So I would also, that's just my opinion. So we were talking this morning. I was like, what would you do if you was a cognitive researcher? Well, I would put together an organization claiming to help targets, um, uh, collect money, collect data, and because if you're researching, you have to have a control group that you're doing analyzing data and research on, right? Then I would report it back to the universities and stuff for further study and research. Just something I wanted to throw in there. Good morning, Submersive. Good morning, McCluckster. Good morning, Chad. Good morning, Anthony. Yes, it is, Anthony. I was just thinking this morning because I try because you got to think like the enemy thinks. So if you got a project, a science project going on, and you got all these beta tests out there, uh, and wouldn't it be easier to keep track of them by creating a organization claiming to help, and then you could collect more data? They'll call in, tell you everything about their life, and you just keep track of them. And I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm just saying what I would do if I was a cognitive researcher. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Phil. No, my background's not working, Phil. I was just explaining that. When I logged in, this was the background I had. This is the only background I had to choose from. And I had saved this meme in my drive a few months ago, but I don't know how it got in my Zoom. They're in my Zoom big time. So now last time I only had grass to pick from in my interview. The first time I had that space thing and somebody said that it was making them dizzy and messing with them when they watch my video. So I changed it and it only gave me the grass option. So now I log in and they got this Jade Helm Survivor thing up. Yes, they do, McCluster. They do that online with fake targets. Hey, Tommy, how you doing? Yeah, it just makes sense. If you're a cognitive researcher, what you do is you build an organization from the ground up claiming to help TIs. Now, only a few of you in the organization know that you're researching and data collection. Then you get real targets who actually think they're helping the cause, and you hit them with a big, so much stuff in their brain that they think they're a big part of the group, and then it's cognitive dissonance. They won't believe anything said against that or anything. So then you got three or four people behind the veil who know what the organization's really doing, while the rest are just uh, flying monkey type people who are helping collect data unknowingly. They've been doing this for years, just like well, I'm not gonna get into that, but there's a group that most members think they're doing good, and they only know about certain levels. They don't know it goes past certain amount of levels, and some people can put this together. It's the same concept. Veterans Affairs, and one of them, you had Northern Lights background. Yeah. That was it. And somebody said it made them dizzy, and so I switched to grass. Was the only thing they let me switch to. Today they got me as a Jade Helm survivor, and I was telling people I am a Jade Helm survivor. Thanks, immersive. Yeah, McCluster. This stuff gets really deep, so you got to think like the enemy, and that's what I've been trying to do. I don't, I just won't. I'm not going to put no organizations' names out there or talk about that. I'm just saying what I would do if I was researching all these weapons and all this program, and I would need anybody, cognitive researchers and people doing this program like me and Holly was talking about. You got to have control groups to data and to analyze data, to analyze what's going on, how effective stuff is, what works, what don't work. Because you got to remember, they're not just trying to drive the target to suicide. If they can't, if that's one goal. Another goal. Oh yeah, I try to tell people don't commit acts of violence or don't destroy people's property. If you're defending yourself, that's one thing. I truly believe that some of these stuff going on is mind control to create a surveillance state. You create the problem, which causes a reaction. So you mind control people to go commit acts of violence. They commit acts of violence everywhere around the country. Then the country's begging for something, a solution, and they're begging, and then you offer the solution, and then you take away their privacy, and they didn't even know they just signed their privacy away because it was all orchestrated program. So just like the Gideon program, they're fixing to introduce that surveils online posts and can determine, supposedly, it's a predictive policing program that can determine if you're a threat of doing violence to somebody just by what you post. And after what happened in Minnesota, they're talking about rolling it out already. So, whose message?
I didn't. It's held for review.
You can share that. Just hit show. My bad. Okay, so anyway, I just thought that's what I've been thinking about this morning. Because some of this stuff you know, well, it just makes me sick. Facebook's really ate up with it. There's other organizations I'm not going to name for my safety, but uh, anyway, you can put the puzzle pieces together yourself. But another thing, um, there's somebody that Greek Target. I'm sure he don't mind me. Well, I'm not going. Well, I'm not gonna get into it. I'll mention that later. Uh, Oh, another thing, somebody got turned down because they didn't have $10 to tell their testimony, and I think that's sickening, because any target knows targets really don't have money. They're targeted, they can't work, they're home. Most of them are homeless. Um, I'm not saying targets don't have money. I know plenty of targets that have plenty of money, and I was friends with a doctor that was a millionaire, but he was targeted because he was a Muslim in America that had plenty of money, and he even moved to Dubai trying to escape this. He was a supporter of mine. I'm still in contact with him. I haven't talked to him in a minute, but he was targeted because he was a Muslim doctor, and he tried to go to Dubai and escape that, and it was still heavy on him. Phil said they must be testing that policing program out on me. They want me to be violent, and many signs point to yes, but I'm very restrained. The police stopped visiting me when I started uploading them. Wow, Phil. Yeah. Um, all I'm gonna say is I've been there too, and all I'm gonna say is I've been there too, and I didn't do it, and I would never try to harm anybody unless I was defending myself or my family or friends or something like that from direct physical harm. You can I'm not saying if somebody comes and punches you in the mouth that you don't need to defend yourself, or if somebody's trying to hurt you, you don't need to defend yourself. Of course you do. But they won't see the more acts of violence targets do, and some people say it's all a psyop. All them things are a psyop, and they may be, but it's still good advice not to act out in violence, or destroy people's property, or go to people's houses like some people's told some targets to do. I'm not going to mention that either, but some people told there's a group of people telling targets to go to these agents' wives houses when they leave for work and tell their wives about what's going on and what these agents are participating in. I totally disagree. I don't think that's a good move at all. Raz, I don't know. Tom said, I don't know if I'm a target, but all my family hate my guts. Well, that don't mean you're a target. Tommy, do you get stalked in mobs? Do they do noise campaigns? Um,
Direct air. Do
well, yeah, I whistle blew to the intercept, and my life has been a living hell ever since. Rasputin, uh, that's all it takes to be added to a list and be subjected and forced through decades of harassment. Tommy said they're filled with hate. Um, Well, I don't. I like. I don't. I can't tell you if you're a target or not. I'm not a. Uh, I would have to know a little bit more to know, and I don't want to tell you you're a target and you not be a target and you go down a rabbit hole. Uh, there's something I looked up too. I wanted to share with y'all. If somebody's smart enough to do this, um, it's how to track down who's stalking you. And if somebody is smart enough to do this and knows what they're doing, uh, uh, hold on, I'm gonna read it. I might be able to do it, but man, I'm not educated in this area, but I know somebody is. Okay, chasing your tail, anti-stalking digital tracker. So what it does is everybody stalking you, it keeps up with them, and then it shows where they go when they leave their house. If you type in Google search bar Raspberry Pi chasing your tail anti-stalking digital tracker, it'll come up how to build this thing. Even spooks get spooked if their spidey senses tells them they're being followed. Uh, in true espionage style, the chasing your tail device fits inside an anonymous black briefcase and silently flags an issue should a tracker be identified. It looks for smartphones and other Bluetooth, Wi-Fi enabled devices that are actively scanning for connections and lets the anxious mark know that the same device has been in close proximity for the past 5 or 10, 20 minutes. Assuming the device that's flagged isn't on your ignore list, while list belong anyway. So what it does is it reverse stop it reverses your tail, and it tracks them to where they're going. I don't know. It's you just have to read about it. It's hard to explain. But I don't know how to make it. Nicholas Hamlin, you might know how to make it. Type in Raspberry Pi chasing your tail anti-stalking digital tracker. I seen a video about this the other day, and I was interested if anybody could figure out how to make it. Being prepared to defend yourself is a good idea, and trying to avoid conflict situations is a great idea. Know your local laws on what you can and can't carry on your person, keep in your house. Yes. James said, Morning, David Holly. I've learned to pay no attention to V2K. I know they hear me too, so I point them out. New Year's Day, I returned $28 to the husband, and he did not like me returning the money in person at the shopping center. They have all isolated me many times, not inviting me and returning my calls.
Wow, Tommy.
Yeah, Nick, you'd be the person to look at that and see if it's legit. So what it's supposed to do, it actually stalks who's stalking you. So somehow it's called Raspberry Pi. One more time, Raspberry Pi, chasing your tail, anti-stalking digital tracker, and you have to put it together. And it's supposedly after whoever's stalking you, you can latch onto them and see where they go when they get done stalking you, and all that. Rasputin said, I'm targeted 100%. I didn't know it was wrong to marry a senior's level 3 letter agency, and then I whistleblow. Yes, this is it for me. 6 years I've tried, and 100% of everything I do fails. So sorry about that. If you want to share what you whistleblowed on, that's fine. If not, we understand completely. McCluster said, I'm good with electricity. I'll take a look into it. Thank you. It's a long story, and I can't explain the dysfunction in a small message. If you want to, Tommy, you can email us at hollyspunk@gmail.com or targeted testimonies at pm.me. And Loki singular. Hey, Loki, how you doing? Uh, we were just talking about everybody that's in here. If I was a cognitive investigator, if I was a cognitive researcher, what I would do was I would create. So I'm trying to think like the enemy, and I've been thinking about it all morning. So if I had a bunch of people I was running research on and doing stuff with Neuralink technology, and smart dust sprayed in environments and stuff, and I was trying to keep track of the effects and stuff, then I would have to create a control group. And the way I would do that is I would create an organization claiming to help TIs, but only 4 or 5 or 6 people could know the real motive of data collection and stuff. So I would hire scientists, people that look good, and fit the norm, and could talk a good game. And I would hire real TI, and I would put real TIs on board that really don't know nothing about the real goal of the purpose and think they're helping the organization. And so I would have about 5 or 6 people that knew the real deal behind it. And then I would have all these other people working under me and have them so cognitive dissonance in their mind that they really think they're helping targets and for a good cause, and collect data on them and see how my test is running on my weapons and what's going on. That's what I discussed this morning. At first glance, it appears to just collect GPS signals of who is. Okay, thanks, towards the Terra. See, I watched a video about it, Phil, and it said that you can actually reverse stalk your stalkers or something like that. So I'm glad. I'm glad that. Let's see. Well, I'm glad you cleared that up. I thought I might have had something. But anyway, that's just my opinion on because you got to think like the enemy in this. So anytime you're targeted, you want to get your enemies, you want to get a perspective from your enemy or your researchers or whoever. You want to think from their eyes to get a different perspective and the right view on this stuff. So thinking like you're a cognitive researcher, what would you do to collect data and keep data up and keep up on your projects and research and what weapons do what and how effective is this smart dust on this person. What's how much level of stalking and surveillance and V2Ks working on who. You know, you got to have control groups to do that. And you can't just say you're a control group collecting data. You got to mask yourself and act like you're helping people to get a group of people together to do control research on. Arella said the last time I heard voices was 9 months ago. Yesterday, they returned with a vengeance. I'm sorry, Ariella. I've been dealing with V2K since 2015. Um, and it's heavier sometimes than not. Holly's dealt with V2K, still deals with it. She dealt with it very bad. Went through a very bad time about a year or two ago, and you know it would comment on me. Okay, unexpected host ID. I just got a warning on Windows. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's why I don't, that's why I'm leery to promote organizations and stuff because you never know the real goal. And if you're promoting this, if you promote organizations then and they're doing that to people, then you're just as guilty for not doing your research before you promoted them. But that's, and, um, okay, for some reason, when I started yelling at
The world.
at the world in my backyard, they usually turn off microwave weapons at least for an hour. So I yell about the real crimes being committed, local landlords and businesses and residents. Did y'all see my video about this Organite thing I got? Uh, Anyway, it's got a bunch of different things in it. I'm not saying it blocks weapons, but it has helped our EMF attacks. It does when it's in the area. If you go watch one of my videos, it brings your EMF. If you put it next to the EMF meter, it does bring EMF levels down. You can't buy any kind of orgonite though. You can't just go buy. I'm gonna buy. No, you gotta. I researched this person for. I researched this orgonite stuff for 2 months straight before I picked it out. And you got to anybody mass producing organite pendants are probably just doing it just to sell it and are not putting the right stuff together because when you put the right stuff together, it creates a Faraday shield around your neck, head, and heart. Thank you, Copus Maximus 4. Uh, Ariella, what I do is handpan music works. Multitasking works when I'm getting heavy V2K. I don't know why multitasking works, but it works. Multitasking is real good for remote neural monitoring attacks too. It makes it harder for them to lock on your brain because you're thinking in multiple threads. Too difficult to explain right here, but I've explained it in different videos. But multitasking, hand pan music helps with V2K. I'm supposed to have Amy Holm on Thursday, and she's supposed to explain something you can do if you have a laptop that generates and when she explains this, what I want y'all to do is, you know, I want y'all anybody who's got a laptop who gets hit, I want y'all to test it out and tell me what y'all think. Because I'm under the impression I've heard it works for some people it don't work. So I think everybody's getting hit with different stuff. They can change frequencies, they can do whatever they want to change to adjust and still torture people. But I will have Amy Holm on Thursday. So it's set up right now unless something happens. If anybody has any questions, you can email them to us. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask her, you can email them to us. Oh yeah, I gotta check one thing. Hold on.
I think this is the government. Be defeated. You didn't read that?
What? Hold on 1 second. I gotta do something real quick. What'd you say?
You didn't read that?
I had to lock the meeting. Oh, Rasputin says, I think this is the government. I don't mean to be so defeatist, but this is so massive, I've just opted to let it go. I feel the more I fight, the more they'll attack. Wow. And I'm not saying it's not possible for to have organizations that are really helping, and I'm not pointing fingers at nobody. I have my opinions. I'm just saying if I was a neural researcher, that's what I would do. And that's why I can't support none of them people or promote them because you never know if there's any intention. So I'm not saying don't support them, or you got to make your own decision. The people who speak to me, V2K, are quite intelligent and they're good at making me think they're demons. And I can see that. I remember my first V2K episode was in 2015 after I tried to check into multiple hotels, and y'all probably heard the story a million times. And I walk out of the Hampton Inn in Springfield, Missouri, right down the road from the bus station, Greyhound, and I hear my handler say, "Look, he can't even get in no motel." And her friend Jennifer laughed too. And I looked in every car. It sounded like it was right there, like she was sitting in a car with the window rolled down. I jumped the swimming pool, couldn't find it, and that's where my V2K journey started from there. They've used my sister's voice. They've used my handler's voice. They used my handler's friend's voice. Well, they've used normal voice, robot voice. They can change voices. They've used inner dialogue. They comment on what I do, telling me it's stupid. Don't try it. You're stupid. They try to mainly, like, lately, they've been doing self-esteem stuff. If I'm real paranoid, uh, they'll tap in and make me paranoid. Now, Holly's V2K, they would comment, well, here's an example of hers back in the day, especially when we first got together. They would make comments about me to try to make her think bad stuff about me. And it got real bad for a while, but we fought through it by the grace of God. Um, Good morning, Lorraine. Good morning, Krista. Good morning. It is I. They use my deceased brother. They have samples from everyone. Yes, they do. And I've even read that ever since the phone was invented and came out in the 50s or 40s or whenever it came out, they've got voice samples all the way back then. Ever call, everything's been recorded since way back then. And it was all even from the invention of the telephone, it was all data collection from the beginning. Um, However, then people will say, well, David, if it's data collection from the beginning, then why didn't they bust a bunch of people? Why didn't they bust the mafia? Why didn't they bust these people if they had all their phone data? Well, because they didn't have warrants to have the phone data. They were collecting it, but they didn't collect it and go to a judge and get a warrant and say they can't go back to a call from the 50s of a mafia member. They back in the 50s they couldn't, or 60s or 70s, you couldn't just go back and say, all right, I collected this. No, you had to have a warrant to collect that. So that's why people say, well, if that was the case, they would be busted. No, it don't work like that. I used to hear loud voices, often friends' voices, but nowadays the voice is quieter, but still as powerful. It's like they make me have my own dinner dialogue. Lorraine, we were talking about what we were talking about is I was thinking this morning if I was a cognitive researcher, what I would do. And I basically explained to everybody what I would do is I would create an organization claiming to help TIs. I would bring 6 people on that I could trust that knew about the data research and data collection and brain research program. Then I would collect all real TIs that really think they're helping the cause and not tell them nothing going on, acting like it's real help. And the whole time I'd be collecting data. And I would only have 5 or 6 people that knew the real purpose of the organization, and the rest would be my associates who are helping TIs and stuff like that. And the whole time I'd be collecting data on them. The other topic was, oh yeah, and then I mentioned one of my targeted friends he got to he had scheduled an interview with a certain person. He got to the interview and they wanted $10. Well, this person don't use cash, so they couldn't do an electronic payment of $10. So they were turned down and not able to tell their testimony. I think that's horrible. Targets don't have money. Yes, it does, Lorraine. Thanks, David. David, uh, I'm not a hero. I'm nothing without the Most High. I just try to help people, man. I've been doing this since 2012. I've had three serious suicide attempts. Holly's been through hell and back because of this. They tried to destroy her life. So we're just trying to uh, be upstanding and do things the right way. And if you do things the right way without scamming and cheating and selling out, then it's going to take your cause is going to it's going to take your cause is going to be slower progressing because you're doing things the right way. People who just boom and get all these views all of a sudden and all that, they're cheating to get there. They're selling out. I think I posted. Oh boy, I got an invite for a live stream for $100. Me be like, right? I think I posted something the other day, and I'll share it with y'all, and because it's very important. Um, is if you set out to be liked, especially if you're trying to expose and do the right thing in this and try to help others, if you set out to be liked, then you would be prepared to compromise on anything at any time, and you would achieve nothing. And that's so true. And we are going to end it right at 12 o'clock today.
Oh, copious. His messages are coming through.
Who?
Copious.
Oh, your message are coming through, but I don't see. But what messages? Are you talking about your emails? Trying to navigate the law is complicated. I've been having a hard time finding a lawyer, but I'm prepared to defend myself. Last lawyer offer I visited, I heard someone whisper. The fire department warned us about him. There are fire departments and employees that have caused me problems, and they follow me. And David said, "Go, Dave, Warrior Dave." I'm no warrior. I'm no warrior at all. I'm just somebody just trying to help. I'm no better than you or anybody in this chat. We share the same things. We're tortured. I can't even leave the damn house without getting stalked by the paparazzi and having panic attacks. So don't. I'm not no warrior, but I appreciate you seeing me like that. But I'm no better than you, David, or anybody else in this chat. We all share the common thing. We're all getting tortured. We all have gifts. We just need to learn to tap into them. They want our self-esteem down when we don't reach down inside of us and realize the potential we have. All of us have the same. We don't have the same gifts, but we have the same potential. You had to pay to be on a stream. It is I. Could you explain? And that's one thing me and Holly realize, and we're no better than anybody. We're just using something that we have an opportunity to do and help people. If I'd have had these videos and this videos to watch and because you got to understand, 2012 my targeting started. I didn't even know what the TI program was till 2018. I thought I was going nuts. Wow, you had to pay to be on my Nexus. Wow. How much did you have to pay?
Toward the terror.
Toward the Terra, David, when you leave, do you walk, bike, or drive? I I ride with Holly. I do want to start walking though, and getting out. Like I've got out a few times, and went to restaurants and stuff, and came back. I left my story in a comment, and he wanted me on the live stream, but I had to pay. So you had to pay it. Mine next is wanted you to pay $100 to be on the live stream. Is that correct? I was targeted young. I thought it was wow. That's insane. I was targeted young. I thought I was alone until 6 months ago. Yeah, don't pay anyone to give no testimonial. Don't pay anyone to come on no live stream. Um, real targets shouldn't be or real targets or people really trying to help should understand TIs do not have money to be paying to tell their testimony or speak about their trauma. That just really upsets me. Paparazzi. That's funny, Loki. Yeah, I got it, but I think it's a scam. Have any of y'all gotten Illuminati invites? I got four now. Are we dealing with another realm, a demonic realm with non-humans? I don't think so. I think, well, I believe in, I believe I believe in spiritual warfare. And if you deal with spiritual warfare, you got demons and stuff like that. I wouldn't call them demons, but I guess you could call them demons. But if you deal with spiritual warfare, but as far as you know, um, I definitely I don't know about the non-human thing. I really think if you start telling people and going on YouTube saying non-humans are targeting us, then it messes with the target individual community's credibility. It's a Holocaust. That's ridiculous. They charged you to be on a live stream to tell their story. Huh, paparazzi. That is awesome. Okay, David said, okay, I'm not that scared going out. These guys tried to close me in while I was driving. I showed no fear and they all moved out of the way. Awesome.
Toward the terror.
Toward the terrace, and I think you should modify your vehicle. I have blackout curtains on all windows in my truck except the windshield. You can use the large T-pins to pin the fabric to the headliner.
Look at Lorraine. Purr, purr.
Huh, Lorraine said, purr, parazzi. Hey. My kitty just purred. We're dealing with both demons and humans. Um, yes, I think we're dealing with spiritual and technology. Um, but I'm careful on this on my channel. I really don't. I really would like to cover the spiritual stuff, but my channel is basically to show everybody this is real and get people's stories out and help people with ideas on how to shield, which is almost impossible, but there's tricks of the trade. I've also got a friend that showed me how to set my computer up, and I've been trying to figure out how to screen record and explain it like she explained it. She tried to do a video for me to upload, but you can't see it. So there's certain stuff you got to do in the BIOS and on your computer, and it will it will help it tremendously. Not saying they're not in it or they don't mess with it. They mess with my Zoom all the time, but it will help it tremendously. My neighbors are not human because they have no soul. I agree with that. I just looked at the preliminaries. Absolutely, it's something I can do. Nick said about the Raspberry Pi. Um, it's tech and extremely evil people. That's a good call, Dave, to only focus on the tech and not demons. However, I do tell people, say Psalms out loud, pray. I don't know what everybody's faith is, and I respect. I don't look down on you. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm not a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. The reason I say I'm not a Christian is I just don't get into the religious stuff. Like you can't dance in church and all that church stuff. I'm not talking bad at all about anybody's beliefs. I'm talking about my beliefs. So uh, I read the Bible and study to show myself approved, like it says. And I believe you can have a spiritual experience with God in your home just as well. God's not in a box you go visit on Sundays. In my opinion, Sundays is not even the right day. But okay, let's not even go into that right now. The moment they got yourself doubting and overthinking, V2K got a leverage. You got to be confident in Jesus. I agree. And I don't get gang stalkers tailgating me just to shine high beams in my rearview mirror. Eh, active. You got to be active and confident in Jesus, Dave says. Yes, we must speak prayer and affirm loud. Use your voice and the power of the word. Yes, so if I'm getting really, really anxious, you can ask Holly. If I get really, really anxious or uh, paranoid from the street theater going on outside, or just anxious or something, just thinking from V2K, putting stuff in my head, I'll pause the TV, open the Bible, and start reading Psalms out loud. Psalms are very powerful, um, and I've had a lot of good results with Psalms. Now, people can say what they want, but it works. Um, stay loving, stay and strong. Lovelies, bye bye. Bye, it is I. Sorry you went through that $100 thing. That's got to be horrible. $100.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know who that is too, so they have no reason. They wouldn't just make up a lie. Uh, okay. Well, we are going to be done in about 20 minutes. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some. Oh yeah. So if they roll this Gideon technology out, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be this AI software scrolls social media and gathers data on people posting stuff. So I would be really like careful what you post out there because this system supposedly scrolls data, and if they see somebody posting stuff that's too suspicious, whatever that's been programmed in their stuff, it's going to alert police, and the police are going to come say, "Hey, why are you posting this? Are you okay? Can we check on your mental health?" You better look up Gideon program. I think that's the name of it. They're getting ready to roll it out after that Minnesota stuff happened. If you're going to black out your rear window, consider upgrading your side. I do not need to because the OEM side views on a Ford Escape are excellent. Reading the writings of saints of Orthodox Church has helped me. Awesome. There's definitely something there's definitely something spiritual about this stuff. Uh all I can say is about two or three different times I have been able to see what was going to happen 20 minutes before it happened, and know my split second decision I need to make to escape what was set up for me. I'm supposed to be having and I don't like getting into it because it's very traumatic, but I'm supposed to be having a on the road discussion with somebody Tuesday, and we're going to record it. He's been a lot of places. I've been a lot of places targeting, and we're supposed to be recording it, talking about stuff we've experienced and stuff like that. I'm kind of dreading it because, like I said, and I'll be very careful on the stuff I talk about, but because I've been through some very traumatic events. I was very traumatized during gang stalked, and being my gang stalking was very heavy. My targeting was very heavy when I was homeless. And if you don't believe me, I slept on a SunTrust sign in Fort Myers, Florida, for 2 days till I could find a way out of there. And I'm talking about a bank sign. Now, I tried to show Holly it's a truest sign now, but you got to climb high. And I slept there, and you got just this narrow thing, a narrow ledge to sleep on. I crawled on top of it, and I said, "All right, y'all want to harass me? Then I'll just sleep." I crawled on this sign and slept there at night, and it was right by this bridge that goes over this water in Fort Myers, and everybody passing. I was in public traffic where everybody could see me. So, I've been through some very traumatic events. You got to be very traumatized and put through a lot of stuff to crawl up on a SunTrust sign and lay down on top of it and sleep 2 nights in a row. The weird thing is, I was never asked to move away from that sign. Nobody asked me. Nobody, no police, nobody came up to me and told me to get off that sign. Just very weird situation. I was so glad to make it out of Fort Myers, Florida. Okay, David said, I'm going to buy myself a shungite stone. Hopefully, the buzzing in my frequency stops. The minute I put my head to rest, it starts and my mind goes from positive to negative. Okay, all right, Ariella, please have a good day and try that handpan music when you go to take a nap. See if it helps with the V2K. Handpan music. David, you can't just buy any organite. Now, the company we got it from was from Etsy. It's called Formed and Forged. And any EMF piece you got, it'll show you got to scroll to the right. It shows got like 10 pictures of it of each item. You scroll to the right. It shows when you put it up against the tri-field meter, it shows the tri-field meter going off. Okay, so you don't want to just go buy shungite and think it's going to help you.
It's got to be put together right.
You were talking about money earlier, just for your info. I'm not a rich guy. I just have 9 credit cards and plenty of debts because I ran my eBay business through my credit cards, a credit system. Thought I was a rich guy and kept upgrading my credit rating because I spend so much. I'm broke but still do lots of spending. Oh yeah, there's lots of target individuals that have that have money or and make decisions not to run through their money. There's a lot of now. I really believe everybody's targeted now. Just everybody don't or their targeting is not activated. Like the stuff in their body's already set for when they want to flip the switch and torture them and all that, but not targeted in a sense. Everybody's not targeted in a sense of stalking, noise campaign, stuff like that. But I'm talking about with the stuff they're spraying in the air.
Started Freedom Fighter.
Hello, Dave. Everyone else from across the pond.
Okay.
And how do you hear of the Etsy shop? Curious, not super important. I researched, and I researched Etsy for Organite, and I just researched, and then I seen it because what I did was I looked on how to get how to get um what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I researched on if you're going to buy Organite that's made right from the right people, what would you do? And it said that Organite has to be arranged in a certain way, and the people that mass produce Organite and have so much business going on that they can't keep up with it, they just put stuff together and sell it. So you want to get a smaller store that actually takes the time. Well, I ran across that store and just looked at it, and it was when I seen them dependent setting the tri-field meter off. I looked up how come that happens, and it said the only way that could happen is if the stones and the minerals were and the elements were arranged in a way to create a Faraday shield around it. That's the only way it would set a tri-field meter up off. Thank you. EMF detection, got to get copper and specialized. Formed and Forged is the company used, David, for a pendant. Thanks. Yes, it's on Etsy. Masterpiece sells an Organite now. Now I don't know if that's not clear. Masterpiece sells an Organite now. Masterpiece, but I've not clarified if it actually brings down EMF or not. Uh, Most of my grass has been poison trees burned by dew. Uh, I like your 2030 agenda pages. I wish I could make my own EMF pendant. Yes, I wish I could research on how to make it too. Good morning, Mossy man. So what we were talking about, Amy and everybody who joined, is we were thinking this morning if we were cognitive researchers and we had all these beta tests and we were researching how these weapons work and how this stalking affects the brain and how noise campaigns and V2K affects people, then we would create an organization and claim to be helping TIs. So what I would do if I was a cognitive researcher, I would set up a board of about 6 or 7 people who knew my real purpose. So it would be a front organization to help TIs, and I would have 6 or 7 people that really knew what was going on, and then I would have real TIs. I would bring them on have them on and have them recruiting people to the organization, helping people. And the whole time, the six of us would be behind the scenes collecting data, sending it to universities, selling data, and it'd be a big front. That's what I would do if I was a cognitive researcher. And if you look towards it, if you look deep into how science and science projects work, you have to have a control group for your beta test. And the best way to do that would be a front organization. So I'm just letting y'all know what was on my mind this morning. Um, I don't know who owns Masterpiece. Amy said it. And what I did when I got mine and Holly's pendant, the first thing I did was me and Holly prayed over it. We cast out any negative curse or something that might be associated with it, and we filled it full of good energy. So you don't want to just get anything sent to you. That's another important thing. You plead the blood of well, whatever your belief is. You cleanse it before you put it on, of course. I don't know how good the Masterpiece Organite is. It does seem like a reputable company. You're
Right.
wise to research them individually. Oh, yes, that's why I've been afraid of joining the TI group. Facts, Dave, and the cash received can afford to pay a full-time attorney. What's that mean? What do you mean by that? The cash received can afford to pay a full-time attorney. Alternative Homestead said exactly. Lots of fronts and agents collecting data. Oh, yeah. Those who see, see. I already had bad experience with TI groups and helpers. I know what you mean. Cleanse stones in the sun or moonlight. Yeah, I've also heard, Lorraine, that you could put your organite, you could put it, we cleanse ours by speaking, over it. But you can also, to get it rid of all that negative energy it collects, it says you can put it in salt too. You can let it sit in salt. Oh, the TI organization I described. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and all the cash received can afford to pay a full-time attorney, etc. So yeah, so what else you do is you create you got six main people that know what the organization really is. You're collecting brain data, you're analyzing data, you're sending it to universities, and the whole time nobody knows it. You think, well, this is the best person organization out here helping TIs. Wow, because they're under so much cognitive dissonance, it don't matter if you show them, these organizations. I'm just saying, if I had an organization, what I would do is I would put so much, flood them with so much information, so much we're helping TI, blah, 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 and have them under so much cognitive dissonance, even if they saw evidence showing that we were collecting data, they wouldn't believe it. And it's sad. Okay, let me shut it. Let me shut up. Cleanse and salt and pray. Yes, Krista, that's what we do. But Lorraine is right about the sun too. You can put it in sun and it'll cleanse too. But that's what we do with ours is cleanse and salt and pray over it. That's what we did before we put it on. Matter of fact, we canceled any curses that may be associated with it, any negative energy, any kind of, and we pled, we believe in the power of the blood of Jesus, so that's what we did on ours. Like I said, if you're in here and you're not, and if you don't believe like us, that's perfectly fine. You're welcome here. We do not judge at all. We're no better than nobody. We're just targets being tortured. Crystals can be spirits and stuff. Yeah, I guess you could say crystals can be spirits or stuff, but I really think it's all how you cleanse it. I think God put this stuff here for a reason, and I think it can be beneficial if utilized in the right way. I get Abduzar, I get attacked with V2K all the time. Like they're calling me Mr. Smiley Pants, saying I'm stupid and all that. I've learned right now they're doing that. I've learned how to ignore them. Now Holly can tell you if I get in a bad PTSD attack, I will start acting on the V2K like in a negative way. Not acting on it, but reacting and letting it bother me. And I'll start taking stuff out on people. And I have to really watch that.
James.
what James said, Vade is an exorcism meaning back off Satan. Okay. Vade retro satana is an exorcism meaning back off Satan. Thanks for sharing that. Amy, I'm not telling you not to join groups. You have to use your own discernment. I don't tell people I don't control people and what they do. I don't try to. I'm just saying beware, be very aware of what you join and all that. Just make sure you can once you're a seasoned TI, even if you did join a group, you could tell if they're full of bullshit within the first week of being in the group. Well, no, no, no. It depends on what we're talking about. We talking about Facebook groups or organizations. Um, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to be quiet on that for my safety. Bubbly blindly. Bubbly, did you not get the declaration I sent you in your email? I did send it to you. Crystals are natural elements. They maintain properties that are conducive to transmitting energy and life. Yes, crystals are natural elements. Anything can be used for good, anything can be used for bad. Rasputin, thanks for sharing your experiences and stuff. You take care too. Amy said, we got 4 minutes. Yes, it takes much effort to avoid being triggered. I ought to watch the group for a while. Some people in the TI events conference calls share helpful info. Of course, of course, and I'm not talking bad about TI events because I don't really know nothing about them. I stay away from all of them. Of course, these organizations are going to share good info. They have to, they have to suck people in somehow to collect data, and they can't do that sharing disinfo. But and matter of fact, there is somebody on TI events, I think, who is very genuine on Wednesday nights, Christian TI, who holds some kind of call. Brian too was telling me about it. I don't know his name, but I'm not on here talking about nobody or no. I'm just telling you think like the researchers might think, or put it like if I was that's why I put it, if I was a cognitive researcher, what would I do to TIs? How would I collect data? How would I report back to these universities with, how would I do it? And that's how you got to think. You can't think from a TI perspective all the time. You got to think from their perspective and think how to figure out moves they're making. Research groups research the history of alleged achievements. They duped new targets. Greeting from New Zealand. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Bubbly Blindly, if you did not get it, please send me another email and I will get it to you today. Crystals are God's creations. It's more attendees on the conference calls, not the host. Some legit attendees share helpful info. Okay, I'm not gonna address that or say my opinion. Sometimes my opinion. I'm not saying all. Some hosts of them calls are perps. Some calls are real. So you got it blended on them calls. Um, and we even thought about me and another person thought about starting a call up. But we don't. We're running the idea by each other. You'd have to try to verify certain people. We would run it different to try to verify to make sure these people are legit. Uh, I think Michael Parsons' call is definitely legit. I think Michael Parsons really trying to help TIs. Unbelievable. I'm still being harassed after barely escaping quadriplegia. I need another fusion. I have screws and bones unfused. Hard to comment like a cycle, but you are correct. And sorry you're going through that. Man, man. I have a screw in my jaw. Uh, but man, I experienced being kind of crippled for about a year um, a few years ago. So I know it's not easy, and to have screws and bones unfused would actually I can't even say I can relate. I can just say I'm sorry you're dealing with that. I'm not gonna act like I know what you're going through because I absolutely don't. Stay 10 steps ahead, Ann said. It's odd to me Mind Nexus is asking for TIs to pay a patron subscription. We don't have money. Exactly. Fake subscribers post instigating comments to record your reaction. Yep. I'm confusing with Mind Nexus with the other guy Dave interviewed. Sorry. And who is that? Oh, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about James. The reason James Martinez says he's doing that is because he wants serious people in his group only. I'm in his group. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to sugarcoat. Now, James Martinez has started talking about non-human entities, which is a big red flag for me. So I'm just white. He said he's going to come out. Everything will make sense when he comes out. But what worries me is it just sounds like a Project Bluebeam setup to me. But I
Yeah,
can't.
non-human entities could also be AI.
Yeah, but he has claimed aliens on X.
Okay, well, a
So
lot of
I'm
people,
just saying,
a lot of people believe in
targeted
aliens.
individuals can't talk about aliens or they ruin credibility.
True. I'm trying to agree though.
I brought that up to James, and we're talking about it. We're going back and forth uh on it. Bedridden 22 years. I had a miracle and can walk again. That is awesome. If you um was it a miracle from God, James? And we're fixing to go. Um we were supposed to go in 2 minutes ago, but we're fixing to go.
Amy
We
said, "Thank you, Dave."
Thank you, Amy. And like I said, I'm not telling nobody who or I didn't mention no organizations' names or nothing, and I'm not going to. I'm saying what I would do if I was a cognitive researcher. I'm not saying it's going on. I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying what I would do. I'm trying to think from the enemy's perspective, and that's all. Bonnie is legit, and her website's Fight Gang Stalking Police 2. Alternative Homestead said Bonnie is also legit. Her website is Fight Gang Stalking Police 2. I believe Lorraine when she says somebody's legit. Oh, thanks, Ann. Fallen angels could be on human. I believe that. If you read Book of Enoch or Book of Jubilees, if you read the lost books of the Bible, I think there's supposed to be 137 books, and we only got 67 or 66. My bad. Of course, David James Martinez priest outfit's a big red flag for me. Yes, it is for a lot of people. And I understand that. And like I said, I'm not just co-signing with him. I'm asking questions. Like I even said, look, you're saying aliens are real now. It's going to throw a big red flag in the TI community. I said, look, I said it destroys our credibility. He said he understands that and that he will be coming out with something big soon. So I'm just waiting, but I'm going back and forth. I'm not just bowing down just because he's James Martinez and going with what he says.
Now,
Now,
although he does help TIs and he is trying to help TIs.
no, he never said he helped
Well,
TIs.
he
He said
said
he
he
helps
helps
people.
TIs. Yes, but
Brain rights. Now that's what I was just fixing to say. I think his declaration, everybody should get the declaration and file it at the courthouse. Because he's saying they're going to try to say through these agreements you sign with your cell phone or something like that, they're going to come back and say they own your brain data. This declaration is well written, 17 pages, and it's got something attached. You file it at the UCC or the court clerk, and it's a declaration stating they don't have the right to do nothing with your brain, research on your brain, do nothing to your brain, period. So I think that's brilliant. However, the other thing worries me. Okay, and I'm fixing to get out of here. Maybe under MK Ultra, he's a programmer. Why did he wear the priest thing? From my research, uh, I don't know why. I'll ask him. I will ask him today in the direct message. People want to know why you wore that priest thing, and I will get back with y'all on the answer. The alien issue is so confused. Is it government hoax? Is it real aliens? Is it the Matrix? Is it a video game? Are we just brains in a bucket? I like talking about those forbidden topics. Yeah, I do too. Kimberly, last name, said her targeting went down after filing a declaration. Well, that's funny, Krista, because yesterday she said she wasn't targeted. Aliens equal government psyops, and I'm not going to mention her last name because I don't want to get into it. But yes, if you notice, her latest thing with three different people, she had three different people on. She said she wasn't targeted at the beginning.
You didn't read this one.
Aliens equal government psyops. You misunderstood. I said I don't feel it's a red flag for me because the seed of Cain is not fully human, so it does not bother me if they say alien because I can rationalize that. We're in a simulation. Whoa, she said that? Wow. I was told she said that in the beginning of a video interviewing three people that she wasn't targeted. That's what I was told. I don't know. I did not go and listen to it.
Unfortunately, the seed of Cain is not fully human, thus the alien connection. That connection is not a red flag.
And I believe you, Cheryl, but there's some things if I'm trying to prove this is real, I can't talk about. Now, I will show you. I ought to pull up this video I found from 2015 where I was explaining who Kane was. I did a video in 2015. I didn't even know I was targeted, but I was talking about they hate my name. I've been smeared everywhere. I don't know why they're ruining my name, caught lying on me. And I found this video that I did, and it was about the seed of Cain and where Cain came from. All right, the apple was if you look up the serpent beguiled Eve. In Hebrew, beguiled can mean sexually deceived. If you notice, the serpent had hands and feet. That's all I'm going to say. And I think there was a seed of Adam, a seed of Cain, and Cain came through. I think it. I think it was eating the apple was an allegory with having sex, and then that's why when they had sex, they uncovered their nakedness. They felt ashamed. Anyway, I ain't gonna get into that. That's way deep. That's another topic. But I know you know what I'm saying, Cheryl. I want to point out. All right, we're gonna go. I'm gonna read these last three. I want to point out they're fixing to play the alien card too, so it don't matter if we don't want to talk about it. I don't care if they're aliens. I want my life ability to work back, not being followed, burned in V2K. I agree. She's not targeted just like Ella Fraud. Alternative Homestead said. Read Robert Duncan's book, How to Tame a Demon. Yes, I have 6 videos reading some of that. I need to finish the book. Well, Cheryl, uh, thanks for your input. I really know what you're talking about, but I have to, I'll try to keep it, just in case any naysayers or people that don't believe in this, I try to keep it as realistic as possible, even though it is realistic for people that know and know what's really going on.
A&L.
Ann L said Esau was born covered in red hair. Uh, yes. Some people, yeah, I'm not getting in. That's a deep conversation too. Simulation theory's only been around since first half of 20th century. I disagree that a reality is a simulation. Simulation being created with computers. My belief, Amy says. Alternative Homestead said, hi, Cheryl. Cope said, how to tame a demon. Not your blank. These politicians, neuroscience are alien enough, not very humane. I agree. Well, I'm going to end this live. I hope y'all got something out of it that helped, and God bless all target individuals, satanic rituals, abuse survivors, MK Ultra, anybody being experimented on illegally, or anything like that happening to them. God bless anybody being tortured, stalked, harassed, going through a smear campaign. I pray peace, and I pray that